Stealing Stories. Did you steal my story?
We went to this birthday party last night. My wife and I and my friend. He's a big board game nerd, and he likes reality TV shows, competition, figuring puzzles out and stuff. So he spent 2 weeks putting this party together, and just him and his boyfriend's like, I haven't seen him for 2 weeks. I don't know what's going on. He's really holed up in his room, in his condo. And we got there last night, and he had taken bits out of. His house looks like IKEA has a board game section. Like, it's a beautiful set of shelves with
just board games.
Thousands of games you've never even heard of.
Amazing.
And he took bits out of every game and made, like, a competition reality show out of all the bits. And then we all had secret identities, like, on the Anonymous, which I don't know if you've seen any of.
I haven't.
It's incredible. That show's amazing.
Okay.
And so we all had secret identities. On the Anonymous, there's a chat. Everybody's hiding behind avatars. So he had us text him as our avatar, our secret identity, and then he would copy and paste our messages into a chat on his TV that we could all see. So part of the Anonymous is shit-talking everybody behind your avatar. Like, we would compete to put money in the pot on this game. And then, like, you put $100 in, you put $5 in, and I put, like, $25 in. Then we all go to the chat rooms behind our secret identities, and I go, this guy's a fucking dud. He only put $5 in. I'm going to vote him off the show tonight. Then we all go upstairs and go, and I would do something like, I don't believe that whoever that was said that about you. And it's me who said it.
Yeah.
And then we go down to vote somebody off the show.
Yeah.
But how that happens is all of us go, I think Alexa is the popsicle, and I think he's the sushi, and I think so-and-so's this. And if you are the person with the least amount of correct guesses, like the one that no one could figure out, you are the Anonymous, and only you get to decide who gets thrown off the show tonight, unbeknownst to anyone else who did it.
So you still, like, they don't know who voted.
And then you go upstairs and go, oh my God, I can't believe they threw him off the show. And it was me that did it.
Wow.
So part of the shit talking last night was he didn't want to eliminate anybody from the party. So everybody just got minus 30 points. And so, like, you had a stack of poker chips for points. And, like, every now and then, 30 points just got taken away. And you could play other games to add more points. But you had to spread them out. So I couldn't load up points on mine or everyone would know that was me. So I had to. So if I won like 15 points, I go 5 over here, 5 over here, and 5 on this one. Maybe one of those was me.
Yeah. Wow, that's so creative.
But
he came up with that.
But so we did the whole game last night, and he's like, it'll be 5 rounds. By the time we got through round 2, we were like, it's 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yes,
none of us can stay.
We can't do this.
It was It's like he made his own escape room. Almost impossible to get out.
but there was no escape.
And we were just like, there was another game we didn't see on the wall in his bathroom. That was a third game.
Oh my God, he took hours for him to prep.
And bits of other games are all over the place.
Oh my God.
It took forever, but at one point, not enough people were going to be at the party. And we were like, oh, he spent 2 weeks getting this together. We feel so bad. And then he's like, there's enough people we could do it. We're like, oh, we feel much better for you.
Yes.
But he's going to spend another 2 weeks trying to put everything back in the little boxes.
Oh yeah, well that would be then you have to remember where all the little game pieces came from.
And the best part is he's colorblind. So I will get a text from him going, which one of these is green, the left or the right? And it'll be like a row of alternating red and green.
None of them are red or green?
I'm like, this column it's red, green, the other one's green, red, green, green. So you need to switch. And he's got to put them all back in the boxes.
Oh my God.
It's bananas.
Your friend is Jigsaw from Saw.
It's amazing. He's so good. And when we do games night at his place, we just go over and he just runs the game. He doesn't even play. He just sits there with the rules and helps out and is like, I've read all the rules. Here we go. I'm going to double check the rules to see if you can do that. Yeah, he's the dungeon master of his game night.
Yeah.
Or in Squid Games,
Amazing.
what was it? Was it on Squid Game? Was it a voice? Or?
Yeah, the guy just over the speaker.
Yeah,
that
that's
would
your
be
friend.
him. Yeah. But he's in the room also helping you.
Right, he's also
like it's very funny.
It's like he's a good version of all those evil games that we see in movies.
If it's like a secretive game, you're like, Aaron, I have a question. And he's like, okay. And we go into a corner and I'm like, can I do this? He goes, I think so. I'm going to read the rules and check. But you don't want to tell anybody what you're going to do.
Yeah.
But other times it's a co-op game. So we're all on the same team trying to achieve the same goal. So you could just go, can I do this? And Aaron's like, I think so. You know what? I think it's better if you do this, though. because it's against the game and it's random, so he can't
Right.
plan what's.
It's
gonna
like he's
happen.
not the casino. Like the house doesn't have to win. Like he's
House
got no
does not-
stake in
no
it.
stakes.
Just other than
He
joy.
just wants us to have fun.
It's like the prequel. Like
just
he
having
becomes
joy.
evil. Like
Yes.
at some point. This is like
Oh, he will at some point.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
At some point, he's gonna turn.
it's the Joker or something. It's the Joker movie of like
Oh.
when he was just a game master for the
Yeah.
guy from Saw or something.
The end is nigh.
Have you done an escape room?
No, I've never done an escape room.
Oh, that's
But
a good sign.
I would like to. I really want to try the ones at Casa Loma. They seem like
Yes, I've
that's some
friends that work
real-
there.
Yeah,
They love them.
because that to me is really cool because that's like a real castle that was built with like secret tunnels and
Yes.
actual hidden passageways
And a history.
and a history. To
I've
it.
done the escape rooms up at Downsview, and it's just some like warehouse that they put some escape rooms in.
yeah.
Not that they're bad; the puzzles are fun and it's an
yeah.
enjoyable experience. But to be in a actual castle
Yes.
seems like
an
tons of
actual
fun.
castle that was built by this crazy guy who wanted hidden passageways.
Oh, yeah.
that is exactly
specifically
the kind of
built to have hidden passageways.
specific, and one that has still not been discovered.
Sir, this
Nuts.
this castle doesn't have a kitchen, but it has 90 secret passages. Throw in the kitchen then. I
That's
guess.
what my wife
Open the
wanted.
oven drawer. It's just a slide.
No, that's just a way out.
yeah.
They're all secret passages.
There's no cupboard. It has anything in it. It's
Where are the
just
plates?
another
Up
tunnel.
there. Secret passage.
No bed. It just flips around.
Oh yeah, everything's just like
Yeah,
everything's a Murphy bed. Everything's a hidden passage. There's like pull out. There's a couch somehow.
It all goes to a ballroom in the bottom or something. Like
and then it all folds up to nothing, into bare brick walls, stone walls, and then it all of a sudden it's a full ballroom with a band.
Yeah.
The
This is
band was
almost-
on this sliding drawer.
if your friend
do
lived
that.
300 years ago and was like a billionaire back then.
100%.
Yeah.
he would do that for sure.
Has he ever done any escape rooms?
Oh,
or is he-
absolutely.
yeah,
I've done them with him.
Oh, there you go.
You just sit back and relax.
And he'll just
Oh,
Finish it
thanks,
off.
man. Appreciate it.
we're out. We escaped.
Yes.
All right. Welcome back to another episode of Stele My Story, the podcast where we invite a guest on to tell one true story and one stolen story. Ooh. And I'm your host, Alexa Steele. Get it? It's my name. My co-host, Ian Fisher, and a very special guest today, Nug from $1 Words.
Hello, how are you? I'm fine.
Oh, good. All right. So I'm very excited. If you haven't seen already, I was on Nug's podcast, $1 Words. Go check it out.
Yeah.
And it was very fun. I didn't win, didn't get a single word.
Yeah,
So-
Nug, maybe tell us a little bit for the
Yeah,
listeners
can
who
you
don't
tell
know.
us a little bit about
So-
$1 Words?
Yeah, so we're both on the Sonar Network.
Yes.
And I've known the people that run the Sonar Network for a long, long time.
Oh, yeah?
And so I've been a guest on a bunch of the podcasts. And so I came in with like, I'm going to pitch this because there's a lot of improv comedy podcasts on the network.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm an improviser and I went, oh, I've got an idea. And then, that entrepreneur in my brain goes, but what don't you have?
Yeah.
And then they were like, we don't really have an interview show. And I went, well, I will pitch an interview show, but I can't just be a normal interview
Yeah.
show. I have to do something with it. And I love game shows.
Yeah.
So I said, well, here's my pitch. And it's, I interview a guest. They get a list of 5 random words that we both get at the same time. You get 5 words and I get 5 words. For every word on your list that you can make me say during your interview, you get $1 for every word. But I'm the same. If I get you to say the random words on my list, I get $1 back, basically.
Yeah.
So there's upwards of $4. No more than $5 to be made in either direction on this show.
Yeah.
Which is good for an improviser because we don't get paid to do much.
Has anyone ever swept you and won the whole $4?
No, but I've swept one person. I've swept one person and got them 5. Once I got to 4, that thing in my brain went, oh yeah, no, you gotta get 5.
Do I take
gotta
mercy?
get
Oh,
five
I've
now.
gotten to like 3 and went, I don't think I can get the other 2 because
Right,
sometimes
right.
the words are real jerks.
Yeah.
We call them. I always call them like the bomb. There's like a bomb word in there that's like, this is a word that is a fine word in the English language, but never gets said out loud by anyone in the history of ever.
No. Yeah.
So, but that day it was like, I think it was volcano was the 5th word, and I knew he was a movie nerd, so I just walked him through like, I'm a wrestling nerd, and I like to get a T-shirt. I like to get the first T-shirt for any wrestler that gets popular enough to have a shirt. So a guy who's toiled on the indies and all of a sudden gets signed by a big company and gets their shirt, I want to get that shirt. Oh, that's a nice, first album kind of thing, for a, like as a music nerd. It's their first T-shirt.
Yeah.
And I said, what is it for you? Do you go out and get people's first movies? Like, and I said, do you go out and get that, if you're a Tom Hanks nerd, do you go out and get Volunteers with John Candy? And he goes, well, actually, I think the Meg Ryan one was before Volunteers. And I was like, oh, it was, what was that? And he goes, Joe versus the volcano. And I go, yeah, that's right. I just led him to it. So I try not to say the words myself.
Yeah.
And then I just try and lead the conversation toward that direction. But the guests, however, are free to do whatever they want. So I had a friend who had camera as one of his words. And during the interview, kept reaching up and trying to fix the camera. Oh. And I was like... He's like, oh, I'm sorry about that. And I'm like, he's just messing around with his camera so much. And then he was like,
you did say it out loud?
100%.
You walked right into it.
Walked right into it. And then afterwards I went, oh, damn.
He got you.
He did.
It's kind of analogous to our show where you're lying a little bit, in a way.
Yeah, it is a little bit. But like, we're just talking. We just had a conversation. I asked questions, did an interview. But there is that, the guest a lot of times says after, I forgot there was a game. But also, another kind of guest is, I am obsessed with the game and I'm not paying attention. Like, I'm trying to, like, you're asking me a question and I'm like, how do I get him to say vociferous? Like, they can't handle it at the same. It's like spinning plates or, patting your head and rubbing your stomach. Like, they cannot do two things at once.
It's you gotta win the game or you gotta answer the question.
Exactly. I gotta pick
when you were on Alexa, how did you find... were you...
some of my words were...
They were terrible. If I remember, there was like at least 2 terrible words.
Like incorrigible was one or something.
Oh
my God.
They were real bad. And then I've had other times where like Will Sasso was on and one of his words was he. So he opened up the interview going, has your friend RJ, our friend, we're friends with RJ, has RJ been on this show? And he goes, and I go, yeah, he has. And he's like, okay. Just laughing. But like right away, I'm like, well, what could have been on the list? But it was he. I've never gotten like is. Like it is just a random generator.
Talk normally and then you would win. You could still pull it off.
Who knows? Yeah. But yeah, it's just all random. And then sometimes people are like, I got shitty words, so I hit random again. I'm like, that's fine.
I think I should have done that.
You probably should have.
I was like, I'll just see how it goes. Maybe I could do it.
Sure. It's very loose rules.
Yeah, loosey-goosey. And then I was like, should I try and lead? And I was like, maybe I'm not very good at leading people in like any direction.
Do you think it's made you like a skill, like could you manipulate, let's say you were a political interviewer.
Oh, boy.
And you were trying to catch like a Watergate scenario. You were trying to catch the president lying. Do you think now because you're good at like leading someone to say a word, you could like lead them into a trap?
Oh, I don't know. I think I could lead them into saying a word that they weren't prepared to say. And then later on, someone could edit it together to make it look like they said something crazy.
Right. Okay.
But I don't know if I could get like, can I make them say volcano?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I could.
Right.
Like, does your fan base really hates that, Donald Trump? Do you think you can whip them up into a frenzy till they explode and then hope they say volcano? But like, oh yeah, what's that? Like, other than that, you have to be like, what's that conic land structure that spits out lava? What's that called?
And then they think you're
somebody on the show is like, what's that? Like, you're trying to get me to say a word.
Exactly. I'm like, what's the opposite of corrigible?
Uncorrigible? I would do it on purpose too. I will, because then they're like, oh shit, he knows.
To take mercy, or even to say like, hey, you didn't trick me, I got you.
Well, I would just be like, you're not going to make me say it. I also love because we do the things over Zoom, I love that when my guest like, have you ever thought of doing this? And like leans into like I'm in person.
Such a tell.
And I could, and I'm like, I see what you're doing. I'm not going to answer this question.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I guess
it's like, what's the lack of poker face? It's like a complete lack of it, but it's great.
Well, that's why I'm hoping maybe the podcast, you'll be able to develop an extra skill that you can sell for maybe millions or billions of dollars.
Sure.
Become the world's best poker player or manipulate presidents.
Yeah.
But not yet. It hasn't got to that point. You're just
not yet.
There's no applicable beyond the pod.
No. And also, as any podcaster does, you just call in your friends. So I can't really do a gotcha moment on my friends. I won't have that friend anymore.
Yeah.
No one wants to go on his show anymore. So weird.
So weird.
I guess I gotta cancel
it. Okay. So I'm very excited now knowing that you are quite the manipulator with words.
Boy.
And possibly maybe a good liar too.
So this is one real story and one not real story.
Yes,
right.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay.
I can do this.
Okay. I think you'll actually
Depends on where you want to start. Where do I want to start? Okay. The 2 stories I have are a celebrity sighting.
Ooh.
Or a spooky story.
Ooh.
Very
Halloween
fitting.
Is coming up.
Halloween is coming up. So I've got celebrity or spooky?
Oh, should we start with the celebrity then end with a spooky
Yeah, I like that he's
story?
putting the ball in our court to
Yeah.
I'll let you pick.
That's
Yeah.
so
Yeah, no one's ever
exciting.
done that yet to let us decide which one
know.
first.
You can decide.
You know what? Let's do celebrity first and then end it off with a nice spooky, like to...
In case anyone's
Yeah,
so
right.
scared that they have to like turn off the podcast for the day.
I'll do it like old time radio. When that story starts, I'll say, turn your lights off and listen to this story.
Ooh, you should.
Okay, celebrity story.
Okay.
So, university, I went to York, and I'm from a very small town in southwestern Ontario, Clinton, Ontario. Shout out to Clinton, Ontario. It says population 2,500 on the sign, and it's very generous. So I go to York, and then my second year, one of my best friends from high school took a year off to go to Denmark, and then he came back, graduated the next year, and then ended up coming to York and living in the same building as me. So I had like one of my best friends from home in my second year of university, and we hung out. There's Mike, me, and Scott. We're our three dudes, and we hung out with these three girls, Tracy, Denise, and Julie. Now, Julie is a chiropractor here in Toronto.
Okay.
Denise is a outdoor theater expert in Drumheller, Alberta. So she does like the outdoor passion project every year there.
yeah.
And then my friend Tracy is an aspiring writer in Arizona now. So like everybody's gone, and Scott's a librarian and Mike's a teacher. Like everybody's gone. We're all doing whatever.
yeah.
I'm doing this. So we hung out all the time. What are we doing tonight? The three of us, and we all lived in the same building. We're like, what are we doing tonight? We're going here. We're going there. And there was one night where I think Mike and Scott and I were just like either tired or we all had school or something. And the girls were like, we're going downtown in Toronto. We're taking the subway. We're going. And you guys want to come with us? And we're like, no, it's okay. And they were super disappointed. They were so mad at us for not going. And we're like, oh, we're not into it. We're not going. And like, I think we just I think hung out in the common room and watched TV. I don't know exactly why we didn't go. We just didn't go.
Yeah.
And then the girls go downtown. And then they come back and they're looking for us. And they gather us in one spot. If we were not in the same spot, they gather us up. And they tell us this story that's like, we went downtown. We went to the entertainment district. We went to bars. We were hanging out, having a good time. Guys bought us drinks. We were having the best time. We were walking to the subway. And we bumped into, and they name a celebrity.
Okay.
Now, this is the 90s. I'm an old man.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I cannot remember the celebrity, but for lack of who it is, I'll say Alanis Morissette. It was that level of the time.
Okay,
Like they
okay.
bump somebody like that.
Yeah.
So they bump into this celebrity who I'll say it's Alanis Morissette right now. They bump into her. They can't believe it. This is before cell phones.
Yeah.
Everybody's freaking out. They talk to her, tell her they're a big fan, and they flash us her autograph on a piece of paper. And we're like, and we didn't go. And they're like, that's why you should always go. See, this, we were so mad at you, but now look at this. Fuck you, because you didn't come. And we were so mad. And we talked about it all the next day. And then for some reason, Mike or Scott said, well, we'll show them. We'll go out. And we'll meet a celebrity. And we're like, this is a great idea. We think it's a great idea.
Okay.
I guess. So we hop on the subway, and this is before York had a subway. So we were taking the bus to Wilson Station and then going all the way downtown. It was a nightmare.
Yeah.
So we go downtown and we walk around the entertainment district and we're checking out the bars and we're going in and having a drink, and it is awful. And we're just not having the best time. But the whole time, like, how can you concentrate? Like when you're having a drink, you're like, is there a celebrity?
Yeah.
Is there a celebrity here? And we finally end up on college at Fran's. We go to Fran's, classic Fran's, late night, 12:30 in the morning, breakfast for late night dinner kind of thing. And we're just sulking. We're pissy.
Yeah.
And Scott says, it sucks that they met a celebrity last night. We went out purposely to do that. Like, you can't, like, now in hindsight, like, you can't go out and like,
No,
I'm going to hunt down a celeb. And then we're just like mad. And Scott goes, they even had an autograph. And then Mike goes casually, how do we even know that was that person's autograph? And that's when the wheels start turning. And we're like, we could just say we met a celebrity. We could just lie and tell these people we met a celebrity. And okay, well, who's it going to be? And then that's when the brainstorming starts. We're all pretty smart guys. So we're all like, well, it can't be too big. Because if you shoot too big, they're not going to believe a word of it. So
Tom Cruise,
and where we run into them. Like, how are we going to do this? Like, were we in the entertainment district? Where were we? What were we doing? Who could it be?
Yeah.
Like you say, Tom Cruise too high. And so we're trying to like name people like, and me, I'm like, well, whose line's big in England? It's the 90s. Mockery is a name, but is that a big enough celebrity? Do they know who Colin Mockery is? Like, this is the 90s, right when it's starting. So I'm just like, oh God, who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? And Mike shoots up and goes, Donald Sutherland. And Scott and I look at each other and start going, well, I guess, yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess he could be like, does he live downtown? Maybe he has a condo. We're at France. I mean, Yorkville isn't that far away. Maybe he has a place there. And Mike goes, no, and points and says, Donald Sutherland. And we turn around, and Donald Sutherland's at France. He has just ordered. He has no food. He says, thanks very much. Hands his menu to the waitress. And the three of us are like, holy shit. So then it becomes this conversation of, how do you approach Donald Sutherland at France?
Yeah.
Well, it's casual because he's at France, but also he just ordered. You don't want to bother him while he's eating, but he hasn't eaten yet. Like this does he seem approachable? Are his characters in movies approachable people? Do they seem approachable?
They're ordinary people.
Exactly. Yeah. So anyway, we're just like, fuck it, let's go. And so part of my brain is like, he's going to point at me. Like, is it the dead zone? Where that meme? But I'm just like, what's he going to do? Like, we don't want to bother. So all three of us get up and come over, and we're like, we don't want to make a scene or anything. And we go, excuse me, Mr. Sutherland. And Donald Sutherland, I don't think has a whisper. His voice is very large. So he's like, yes. And every fucking head in the place turns. And we're like, we just wanted to say big fans, whatever. And we got him to sign a napkin at Fran's. And it was like, he was so nice and it was so lovely. And then we were on the subway like, holding our napkin, like, don't lose it, hold on tight. All three of us hold it so the wind doesn't take it away on the subway. And we get back and we tell the girls this story, and they do not believe us at all. They think we have forged this autograph, and we're so pissed. I'm sure Scott still has it, but just the idea of like, who can we say? And Mike goes, Donald Sutherland. And we're like, it's not a bad. And he's like,
perfect.
Look at Donald Sutherland. It was hilarious.
Oh my god, that is hilarious that you were gonna lie.
So we were gonna lie and then saw a real dude.
But then still
like, what's a good lie? And then like, is Donald Sutherland the best? Because he's a pretty good name, but he's also like not super popular in the 90s. Like, I'm trying to like.
Look, 24 wasn't even on, so his son wasn't quite famous yet. The Hunger Games, all the things that kind of made him again.
Cool again. Was not like me. I'm like, he was in Animal House. He was in this, and I was like, it's Donald Sutherland, man.
It was it's a perfect.
I can't picture. I don't know who it is.
Yeah, you do. He died this year. He
super long gray hair.
He's the game master in Game of Thrones. I'm sorry, Hunger Games.
Yeah,
and
but that voice, like, just imagine, like, excuse me, sir. Hello.
You know what break your heart? You're a huge Pride and Prejudice.
I know who it is.
Okay.
I know.
I just really want to dig the knife into you. You know that you like. This is a guy.
You remember
your favorite movie,
your favorite thing.
Nug, you were like original TMZ. You and your group of friends who were like, we're going to go out and find a celebrity tonight, and then you pulled it off.
Amazing.
Now looking back and thinking, the balls of like, we're going to go out and find one.
And 5 million people live in this city.
You willed that shit in.
On like a week, the girls went out Friday, and they were mad we didn't come, and we went out Saturday. So it was like a weird, like, what a dumb thing now. It's like when I lived in Clinton, and we're at a party, and all the beer's gone, and we're like, somebody get in the car. Toronto's got to have a 24-hour beer store for sure. And then we'd all drive and get halfway and be like, oh, there's no way.
Yeah.
Toronto's going to have
it's gotta have a 24-hour beer store.
If the three of us had a task of like, hey, I'll give you $1,000 if you can come back by the end of the day with a celebrity's selfie.
Just a selfie with a celebrity.
We couldn't probably pull it off.
No way.
No way.
And not even a level of that. Like, he had an Academy Award, I think. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh my, yeah. Bananas. Like, it was just, stuff like that doesn't happen.
My mom in the 70s lived in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And her whole intent of moving there was to marry Harrison Ford.
That's why I went.
That's why I went.
Amazing.
And she lived with a hockey player, and let's not look too deep into that.
Okay.
But she lived with this NHL player who was like an LA Kings player at the time.
Yeah.
And one night he invited her to a party. He's like, hey, I'm going to a party. And this is maybe 6 months to her living there. Mm-hmm. But she was reading a really good book. And she's like, I don't really feel like it tonight. I'm just going to stay and just finish my book. And yeah, you guys can guess. He comes back like 5 hours later and he's like, guess who I spent the entire night playing pool with? And it was Harrison Ford. They really hit it off and they shot pool. And I'm obviously really grateful that she didn't go because I exist now.
Exactly.
So maybe they would have fallen in love. But it was exactly that of like, there's no way she's going to meet Harrison Ford. And she could have.
I have a friend who his mom grew up in Montreal. And he loves telling this story, which is, my mom went to the prom with William Shatner. William Shatner was almost my dad. And I go, no, That's not how biology works. You are the product of your mom and your dad. Your mom, William Shatner, would have produced a completely different person. He was not almost your dad. You weren't alive when your mom went to prom.
Yeah, you would not have existed.
Oh, no, William Shatner was almost my dad. No.
No, William Shatner just had sex with your mom, and it doesn't go beyond that.
That's it.
Also, a weird thing to tell us about your mom.
For sure. So weird.
For sure, bro. No.
That's not how biology works.
Wow, that's a good story. I like the names. You remember all the names, their jobs, but are you showing us all that because you think it'll make us think this story is true?
Questions.
That's what I wonder too. And the fact that he said he didn't remember if it's Alanis Morissette, if he's lying, he could just pick a name, right? He could just be like, oh, they got, I don't know, in the 90s, whose autograph? They got somebody from, whatever. They got Matt LeBlanc's autograph that night.
Oh my God. Yeah, just me trying to pick I do remember we watched a lot of Days of Our Lives, so I could have picked out, like, Deirdre Hall, but I didn't. Like, I can't remember who they met, but I remember them flashing the autograph, and we were pissed. I think it's because we were blind with rage.
Right.
That we do not remember who it was, but they met us.
But it's such a good detail, because it's like, then that makes me think it might be a true story.
I know.
Because
also, picking Alanis Morissette, I thought you were going to have to keep saying that name, and I was like, that's quite a name to pick. And that made me think it was true. Sort of.
I know, it's tricky.
We don't know.
He's got lots of layers.
Till the second story is told.
Yeah.
We don't know.
So maybe any more holes you want to punch right now, or is it like, that's the thing?
What did you guys get at Fran's?
Oh, well, that means this is 30 years ago. For sure, I would not have gotten pancakes because I'm not a late night pancake guy, but I would have gotten like I think a sandwich, like a fried egg sandwich kind of thing. And Mike was a big baked beans guy for some reason, so
one of our listeners right now is looking up the menu from 1995 in France.
How long is the commute to Toronto?
From my hometown?
York, yeah.
Oh, from York.
Or from
York?
Sorry, you were at York.
Yes.
Yeah.
So from York, it was I want to say it was like the Wilson 137 bus, and you would get on it, and it would pick you up right. York now has a subway stop, but it didn't before. So the buses would all come in this big loop, and you would get on the bus, and it would take you down Keele, across Finch, down towards Wilson Station,
my gosh, yeah.
and the next stop was Yorkdale. So it was a big deal. We're all going to Yorkdale, and you would get on the bus and go one stop to Yorkdale because there was a movie theater and a liquor store. You could get everything there. But then a liquor store popped up across the street from York, and we were like,
became the richest store.
The best place ever. But there was nothing up there when I was there, so you had the subway everywhere, and the closest subway was a 20 to half hour 20-minute to half-hour ride away on this awful bus that everyone was on the bus because that was the only way to get to York.
Right.
Donald Sutherland was on the bus.
Imagine. He's driving it.
Yeah.
Very Hall.
This projection's so good they don't need the automated.
They don't need the speakers or anything.
They don't need nothing.
Ding! He would just yell ding.
Yeah.
They don't need to pull the cord.
And even Fran's up there, Bod College or Carleton, is like a pretty far walk from the King West Entertainment District.
Well, we thought we'd find, let's walk up Yonge Street and maybe we were like,
you had a good plan.
This is a dud, we gotta go this way. And we're like, this sucks.
And it does make me believe that they struck out because that's like a 40-minute walk they would have ended up.
Also, France was a big deal for college kids
24.
too. Like, we go to France. And we knew the one on college and forgot there was one closer to the Eaton Center. There's a second France.
Oh, is there? Is it
but
still
I don't know
open?
if it was there then.
Yeah, because that one that you went to is definitely still open.
Yeah, it's the greatest.
Yeah.
Every time I drive past it, I yell at my wife, we thought that was the greatest. Every time we go past it.
This is good. Good details. Good details.
Thank you so much.
Do you have any more holes to pick?
No, I think it's time to get spooked.
Let's get spooky.
Let's get scared. And he's too good of a liar. He's manipulating us, but maybe...
So, this is very well timed because it is spooky time. And the Evil Dead, the musical, has just restarted here in town. So that's now running at the Randolph Theater. Everybody go see it. But for a long time, when it ran at the Diesel Playhouse here in town, I was in it for 2 years, basically. And I sang and danced in the Evil Dead movies. They call them Deadites, but for the benefit of everyone at home, zombies.
Yeah.
So singing, dancing, zombies, gore, blood. We soak the front few rows with blood. There's a splatter zone. You can buy tickets specifically to sit and get soaked in blood. It's an amazing, hilarious show. that is very much a love letter to the movies of the 80s, of the time.
Yeah.
There's some questionable shit in those movies, which has not translated great to stage 30 or 40 years later, but whatever.
Yeah.
It's a good time. The songs are memorable, and right now the cast is all musical theater grads. So when I did it, it was a couple musical theater people, but some funny people who could act like they were singers.
Yeah.
That was me.
Okay.
I'm funny, and I can act like I can sing, sort of.
Yeah.
And then there were real musical theater people with us. This current cast is all excellent singers, and they're getting the funny. The more they do it, the more kicks at the can they get. The funny is coming, and they're all wonderful.
Yeah.
I saw it on opening night. It was great. But for 2 years of my life, singing, dancing, blood, gore, zombies, every night. Every night. And you'd think you'd have nightmares, but you'd kind of get desensitized to the whole thing. And I was living out on the Danforth in a basement apartment. And my basement apartment the Danforth houses are old, built hundreds of years ago. And this guy a very young landlord lived upstairs. He had built a nice big back deck that took a set of stairs and across the deck to his back door. But he had put a set of stairs in and a back door so that he could have a basement apartment. So these stairs were like between a wall of wood for his upstairs and the brick of the house. And the stairs were not really up to code. So I used to call it the coal chute. Like, you're going to get caught in the coal. If you're on an icy day, you're going in and you're going to crumple in a heap at the door and not get back up. You're stuck forever.
Yeah.
So you would walk in and there's laundry, and then the next door was me in my little apartment. It was very low ceilings, but I'm a short guy, so it worked. And my bathroom featured a bathtub that had been sunk into the ground level with the floor. So I would step down into the tub and shower and then back up onto the floor. It was tough, but great. And I had one tiny window in my bedroom and one tiny window at the opposite end past the kitchen into the storage/fruit cellar area that had a window up near the front of the house. Tiny, tiny little window with I could open it up and get a breeze. Very illegal.
Oh my gosh.
So, so anyway, I come home from a night, and I want to say it's like late August, early September, maybe the holiday weekend. The landlord had called me and said, I'm not home this weekend. Keep an eye on things. So I know he's not home. And I come home at 2:00 in the morning from singing and dancing in blood. And I'm still like, you take a shower after the show, but I'm still caked in fake blood.
Yeah.
And I take a shower and try and because I think last week, the last of the blood from 20 years ago came out. It stays forever. So I shower and I'm going to bed. And my window in my bedroom looks out the coal chute and sort of can see upstairs.
Yeah, yeah.
And as I'm going to sleep, I hear thump, thump, thump. And it sounds like someone is at his back door, the upstairs back door, like basically above mine. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? And I look out the back window and I just see, it's pitch black. His lights aren't on. There's no lights on. And I just sort of see a shape and it's bumping up against his back door. So I go, what the fuck is going on? So I kind of come out and I go up the stairs of the coal chute and I turn around and go, hey. And this shape is like a zombie, very slowly thumping up against the door, just boom, boom. And I can see a coat and stringy hair, and it's just not paying attention to me at all. And I finally go, hey, what are you doing? And this woman turns around. She is soaking wet, hair all down her face, scrapes, gravel, blood, bloody knees, bloody face, and her eyes, nobody is home. She is out to lunch. And she's just boom, boom, and then she turns around and like, if you're me, she's looking there. But like, huh? And I go, are you lost? And then she goes, ugh, makes that noise. And then turns and starts coming down the stairs and makes the turn toward me. And I go, nope. And I go back down the stairs real quick and lock the door of the coal chute. And then I turn into my place and lock that door. And then I can hear her now. She's come down the stairs and is in the coal chute. And I'm like, well, whatever's wrong with her, she is not going to get out.
Yeah.
Because on a clear day, you cannot get out of there without trouble. She's in there for good.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I call the cops, I guess. So I pick up the phone, I call the cops. And it's like, hi, here's the story, here's the address. I'm in the basement. Somebody's at the back door. The landlord's not home upstairs. I can't get out.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, we'll send the cops. So then I run through the kitchen to the storage area where that other window is, and I slide it open, and here the cops are outside, and I'm like, hi, over here. And they come over, and they're looking around, I'm like, down here. And they look at me, and I'm like, hello, there is I'll go through the sidewalk here between the houses. There's a lady, I think. She's not looking good. And, like, scrapes and blood and gravel. Like, it looked like she from the ring. Like, she looked like she was out of the ring.
Oh, my God.
So then they go, oh, okay.
She's 100% a zombie.
So then they go down the sidewalk, and I come running back around, and she's still bumping up against the door, but I can hear them talking to her.
Yeah.
And then the bumping stops, and I go, oh, they got her. Everything's cool. I unlock the door, and as I open the door, an arm shoots through, and it's her arm. There's blood, gravel, scrapes, and I'm just like, Jesus, like, and I'm in a musical that does this.
Yeah.
And I still am shitting my pants. And they go, no. And I'm like, no, thank you. I'm saying no, thank you. No, thank you. No, thanks. Nope, nope. And then they get her, and we get her outside, and she's sitting on the stairs of the back porch. And then she's relaxing and slowly getting her wits about her. Mm-hmm. So she had been at a Frosh Week party at U of T.
Oh, no.
And got hammered, or somebody put something in her drink. And she said, I knew something happened, so I left. But then it hit her on the way home. And she got off one subway stop too early. She actually lived one stop further.
Oh.
But if you counted the steps, she thought she was at her house.
Whoa.
So she was so discombobulated that she, like, walked up to the back door to get into her house.
She just knew the distance.
She just, like, her body was, like, automated.
Just,
but she had gotten off had she gotten off the right stop, she probably would have made it home.
Amazing.
But she ended up at my house and scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
But she was just like, I guess I fell. Like, she's like, no recollection of anything that happened to her. And the police are like, okay, we got it covered, thanks. Do you think I'm going back to sleep after that?
After a bloody arm just shot through my door?
For sure, horror movie shit. Real life horror movie shit happened to me. And I was like, well, I thought I was desensitized to this stuff, but I clearly wasn't.
And also the fact that you just went out anyway. I'm sorry to say that you probably would not make it. Like,
oh my God! No.
I was thinking that same thing.
I'm the guy who's like,
sorry.
Excuse me, Mr. Vampire.
Excuse
are
me,
you okay? And then like I'd be dead for sure. For sure. But the comedy guy never makes it in those movies anyway. So
dies really quick, but in a funny way.
Absolutely.
It's funny saying no thank you as you get murdered.
Yeah.
No thank you.
No thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Straight if she'd have grabbed my throat, oh my God. But the way that arm shot through, it was terrifying.
Oh my gosh.
What's crazy is she was Alanis Morissette.
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Alanis, what are you doing getting off at the wrong subway stop?
Yeah, Alanis lived in a basement apartment.
Even it sounds like you lived in like the cell from the Count of Monte Cristo or
Oh,
something.
it was so small. I loved that apartment because it was perfect for me. But if you had it, like, I could have a friend over, but if I had two over, it was too many people for that place. And anybody tall just could not come over.
The stepping down into the bathtub gets me.
It was, but it was
That's a
great
death
when
trap.
you were like, I would put my CD player next to the tub and just be like, oh, I want to hear a different song. But it was like, I could lean on the floor in the tub and just everything I wanted.
Oh my gosh.
So I was dating a girl and she was like, oh, I had a rough day. And I was like, here's some food and some candles right at arm's level. Enjoy and have a nice big bath. So she was like, it felt like I was at a spa. And I'm like, well, you're not. You're at a shitty basement apartment on the
That's why it's so
There
dim.
you
She's
go.
like, is this candlelight? You're like, no.
It is.
Yeah.
It's just the regular light bulbs are that dim.
The ambiance is just some crazy roofied girl banging on the door.
Which, like, I just felt so, afterwards, I felt so bad for her, but I could not get the, excuse me, and the, like, the look on
and
her
just
face,
like-
and just like,
Yeah, you're like, zombies are real.
Yeah, I 100%, like, well, shit, zombies are for real,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'm gonna die tonight.
It's
Because there's only
happening.
one way in and out of your apartment, right?
That's the only way in and out. This guy was not squeezing through the tiny window at the front of the...
Oh my gosh, so you would have been doomed in a real apocalypse. Like
This
whoa.
is my tomb.
Yeah.
This is where I die, right
Yeah.
here. I'm never coming out again.
I hate signing a lease to an apartment saying, this is my tomb. Like, is this where I die?
That's what happened when I worked on the cruise ships. I had a very tiny room, and I'm like, I could touch both walls while I was asleep, and like just barely enough room on the bed for me, and all of my stuff was in this place. And they're like, in the event of the ship going down, here are your emergency stations. I'm like, lock the door. This is my tomb. This fridge box.
You're
Yeah,
the woman
this
in
is
the
where it
Titanic.
goes.
Yeah.
This is where they're gonna find me.
Yeah.
I'll
No,
be
no
fine.
windows? No windows in the cruise ship?
No, I was below sea level for sure.
Wow.
When I worked on it, yeah.
That's terrible.
Did you ever get claustrophobic on the cruise ships? You were doing comedy on the cruise ship?
Yeah. No, because I knew it took a while the first couple days to figure out, because we were in the catacombs of these tiny rooms. And I had one on the end, so I had my own, like my toilet and shower, and we're all in one room. Toilet, shower, we're all in one kind of combo. And then if you had a double room, that was shared with, like, your door opened, and then that door opened to the other room.
Oh.
So you would have to lock that door to the other room when you were in the shower.
Yeah.
And then remember to unlock it so they could shower.
Could use it.
Or they'd have to come over and go, hey, man, could you unlock my shower? Thanks. Or that's where the toilet was, too, so you could lock somebody out of the toilet. But I remember people who lived on that ship would just flip the doors open and have a party. We're having a party.
Through the bathroom.
Through the bathroom. So they would have, like, 7 or 8 people in these
God.
tiny rooms having a they called it a bathroom party because it was the bathroom doors were open.
Wow.
That's
It was
gross.
not enough room to do any of that.
No.
There wasn't enough room for me. And I was thrilled I had one to myself. But then when I
Yeah.
did my second ship immediately after, we were above sea level. We had a porthole. I was in like a double bed hotel room with one of my best friends. And I was like, this is,
Wow.
I want this forever.
This is living.
Yeah.
When you said double bedroom, I was like, oh, cool. Like, you have more space. No.
No, it was a hotel room with 2 beds. But I knew that guy from working in Toronto. So when we were like first 3 months or first 2.5 months of the cruise,
Yeah.
me and him in this room, and at the very end of the cruise, we rotated around so that we had the single rooms for the end of the cruise. So it was like, I'll live with my buddy,
Yeah.
and then at the end of the cruise, we'll finally get our own rooms.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Nice.
It was great. And that was Alaska. That was the best. Alaska was
That
the
sounds
best.
so nice.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
awesome.
I actually would love to take a cruise down to Alaska.
I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
Being on the first cruise to Alaska, like our first trip to Alaska was like, this is amazing. And then like 5-6 weeks later, you're like, fucking snow. I've seen it. Like,
Okay, that's
we
enough
get
of that.
it, glacier.
Like anything, after a few, like, even the guys at the space station are probably like, oh, Earth again? Like, floating.
I just had
Again.
friends take their parents on their like 50th wedding anniversary on a cruise to Alaska.
Yeah.
And they were on the same itinerary I went on. So when I saw they stopped in Skagway, I was like, oh, when you get to the next one, do this, this, and this. Go to these places. Don't go where everybody else goes. Leave the port and turn left and go to these places.
Yeah.
And she messaged back and said, we had the best time, and everybody thought that place was a dud. Like, everybody thought the port was a dud. Why did we stop here?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
she's like, you recommended 3 places for us that we were never going to forget. I'm like, yeah, because we knew where to go.
Yeah, yeah.
You leave the port, and like, because the port's like a shopping trap
Yeah.
for tourists.
Yeah.
But as soon as you go outside the port, there's some really cool stuff
You
in
see
these
the real
towns.
Skagway.
Yeah,
gosh,
we would go to a microbrewery, and then there was my favorite thing. Being an actor, you will fully understand this.
Yeah.
They had a theater up there, and they were doing a show like Klondike Days or whatever.
Yeah.
And the program was posted outside in like a glass case so you could read the program.
yeah.
And it's in Skagway, Alaska. And here's like Jennifer, for lack of a better name, Jennifer has done this on Broadway, this off Broadway, went to this school, and is thrilled to be in Skagway,
Yeah, that she
Alaska,
is.
performing in Klondike Days. And we're like, no, you're fucking not,
Yeah,
Jennifer.
fuck you.
Graduated
Get the
from
fuck-
Juilliard.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
here I am pretending to be a saloon wench in Skagway's Klondike.
For 9 people who
isn't
happen to
that
go
nice?
off the cruise ship
yeah,
tour.
9 people who accidentally fell off the port and are at your little theater. But I was just like, no, you can't be thrilled. And like everybody's, but that's a standard thing for theaters to say how excited you are to do the show. But you're not excited to do this in friggin' Skagway, Alaska.
Skagway is a crazy name.
It's the greatest.
Skagway.
Being from British Columbia, we had to learn about Skagway as well, and we would, and like at school, we'd yell at each other, "Skagway!" And, like, so when you brought that up, you've said 2 things tonight that I was like, well, did not expect that.
so-
Drumheller, Alberta.
Great memories of these places.
Yeah.
Oh my god, so good.
That's a very funny callback to your schoolyard days that you would even have a funny way
Skagway.
of saying it like an
Yeah,
old
we didn't have a
time.
lot to do in the mountains of BC. We had to make fun of other mountain towns.
Right?
Yeah.
Last night at the party, the saying Skagway like that. Last night at the party, we all had to know. I didn't know everybody at the party. Not everybody knew each other, but we were all in costumes for Halloween for my friend and for my
nice.
friend's
Yeah,
party.
yeah.
We all dressed as bits from board games, and so somebody was a character from a board game, and they had like the short bob old Asian lady wig.
Oh, yeah.
Playing a old Asian lady character, and he's Asian, and he looked very good.
Yeah.
But no one could remember his name, and one of my friends was like, "What's going on, wig?"
Just
and so
wig.
then and his wig wasn't great. He looked great, but his wig wasn't the best. And so all of us started calling him Wig. But we had to go, "What's going on, Wig?"
If that was like first day of university or high school or something, he'd
fuck,
be
he's
wig the next
forever.
5 years. Yeah.
He's wig forever.
Yeah.
Your wig forever now. That'll follow you till your wedding day.
Yeah.
She says, I do wig. Wig.
Come on, man.
I do wig. Yeah, please, it's Keith.
Oh, trust me, wig better.
Yeah.
No, wig has a ring to it.
Wig.
Again, like a good stuff. Because here's the thing.
Never.
He mentions like being on the musical like Evil Dead.
Oh yeah, we're dissecting my story.
Yeah, exactly. Don't remember.
Oh,
This is
we're-
not just friendship.
Oh, I know it's not.
We're trying to manipulate
We're not
ourselves.
friends
There's
here.
upwards of no dollars changing.
Yeah,
hands.
exactly.
So,
All the pressure's off.
Yeah.
You're leaving with exactly as
stakes
much
are high,
money.
dude.
Oh, there we go.
Like, 'cause here's the thing. We could look that up. I've got an iPad right here. We could check.
Yeah, we're
the
fact checking you
program.
now.
You can.
Okay, that was a little
And that's
too
confident. Yeah.
You're welcome to fact check all of it. Fact check my order at Fran's.
And he called our bluff right away. He's like, check it. And we're
know,
like,
I'm
oh, we
like,
got
oh.
scared. We're like, oh, shit.
And I was like,
What
that
were
was
you going to fact check?
And
That I
if-
did the musical for
Yeah, I was
2
going to
years?
quit. Yeah, exactly.
No, for sure I did.
Yeah.
I just went to opening, and when the character I played has this big solo to open, like that's how he appears in the shit. Like he's puppets and he's a tree, and then your track as that actor is your puppet, you're a tree. Then you come out and sing a song about how awesome you are, and then at the end of Act 1 you go, and that's your whole track for Act 1.
Wow.
And then Act 2 is you singing and dancing the entire thing until you're dead, coming back up as a zombie and singing and dancing 20 minutes straight. It is
Amazing.
awful. And so when he came out to sing his solo, there were enough fans of the original show that were so excited to see it come back that all these heads swiveled around to look at me. And my
No
wife
way.
goes, "What is happening?" And I go, "Just stare at the stage. Maybe they'll get the clue to watch the show." Like if they look at us and I'm looking there, maybe they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I should watch the show."
Yeah.
And then immediately intermissions, people come running over. "What was that like? Did you see? What was that like to watch that guy sing your old song?" And I was like, "Well, it was a combination of
Empathy and probably...
empathy for sure, a
Judging.
Vietnam flashback for sure, and also immense joy that I did not have to do the choreography that's coming
Yeah.
up for the second.
The
half of
relief
show.
that it wasn't you.
The relief that like,
yes.
thank God.
Yeah, you got it, buddy.
Oh yeah, and right now they're all young. They're babies doing this show, and I can see. I don't want to out the poor kid, but I'm like, I can see because he's like me. I'm not a dancer.
Yeah.
He's not a dancer, but he's doing choreography.
Yeah.
So there are a couple people who are super into like confidently doing the steps, and there's a lot of points where he's looking at his feet, and I'm like, I was the same, dude. I fully empathize with you because I'm not a dancer either. Once you do this show 10 times, you will no longer look at your feet,
Yeah.
and they're just getting through the first couple weeks of the show. You'll be great.
Oh, yeah, I'm not a good dancer either.
Oh
so I
God,
get
I'm
it.
gonna
I get it.
yeah.
Well, none of us here are good dancers, so I'll just speak for
Called
you.
me out.
Is that a
immediately.
lie? Is that the lie?
No, he's a terrible dancer.
Yeah, that's the lie. We're
The
lying
lie
to
is-
you. We
Oh,
got
no!
you owe us a
This
dollar.
isn't even a podcast.
Yeah, no.
And we got you to say dance.
Ah,
you owe us
shit.
$1.
It is a good rule, like what you said in comedy too. Like if you can't sing, sing loud and sing confident. It's funny that you can't sing. And
Act
then if
as
you're,
if you can sing.
and then if you happen to be good, it's like the audience is surprised. Like, whoa, the funny guy can sing.
Yeah, that's
I've
what-
never experienced that because I can't sing at all. But
Well, we did it in. I got asked to do that show in 2004. Whenever we did it at Just for Laughs in Montreal, and it was just like they knew me. Can you come in and be the funny part of the show? Great. And that part had never really been funny enough. And then they were like, "Oh, this is great now," but I wasn't trained, and so I was just like meatloaf belting my entire thing. And then all of a sudden, it's like I don't have an understudy and I don't have a voice.
Yeah.
And they're like,
God.
"You're fucking on tonight."
Well,
Okay.
you're on, so get up there.
But then when they did the second round, I got to take some lessons with a real pro music theater singing person, voice instructor. And in the middle of it, he was like, "You can sing, you can do this." And I go, "Oh, I don't want to do this. I have no interest in this. But thank you.
Yeah, but-
I'll do this show.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna you're not gonna see
You
me
can
on
actually
Broadway."
do
You're not gonna
this.
see
Oh
me.
yeah,
The talent.
it was like a revelation. He's like, "This guy they sent me that they said could not sing can sing. I've discovered a new." Oh, he
Yeah,
has no
you're like,
interest. Oh, I'm
eh.
sorry.
you could end up in Skagway.
I could do Klondike
So
days.
happy to hear be
Me
here.
and Jennifer are thrilled to be in
Skagway.
Skagway.
Yeah,
Oh, these are both good.
They're good stories.
they're great stories. You did
Great
good. You did
stories.
great.
Good stories.
Oh my God.
You'd think we'd be getting better at this guessing
We're
thing.
just, I feel like we're getting worse, honestly.
Yeah, we're learning that, yeah.
Like,
We trust everyone. We're learning we're too trusting and that we're
Yeah.
very bad lie detectors.
It's great. I like the confidence you guys are showing me.
Well, it's really nice because we make the guests do all the work. You guys come on, tell the whole story.
tell
Oh,
the whole
yeah.
story, we just go, wow.
We have one job to do and we're at
I
it.
like the idea of the show. Come in and you do all the work. Tell me
Yeah,
two
you
stories,
are-
and you get to go. Oh wow, liar!
Liar! No, yeah. Oh. And you know what? I'm not any better at this.
All right.
I think
You go
the
first.
second story may be the stolen story, but it has lots of details from his true life to throw us off. Like, I think we know he was in the play.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that was his apartment, but he's making play money back then. Maybe he was
Yeah.
in the penthouse of the Trump Tower.
You guys obviously don't do theater. There's
Maybe
no
he's
such
getting
thing as
$1
play
million
money.
a day, like all theater actors get.
Man's
Yes.
rolling in.
I was rolling in that money to have a basement apartment on the damn floor.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Good defense. Good. Or is he trying to throw me off because he knows he's wearing a Rolex?
Like, God, imagine.
I don't know. Okay, I'm going to say the first story because I feel like there were so many names and
I could throw
details.
names into that second story. I could tell you the
true.
entire cast of people I was doing Evil Dead with.
That's true. He can name names.
can
You're
name
like
the
McCarthy
names.
in the communism.
I think.
I feel like the first story was stolen from somebody else.
Oh, that someone else went on the celebrity hunt
Yes.
and met Donald Sutherland.
And you've heard the story from them and got the details from them.
And the second one's true, the zombie,
I think so.
Frosh zombie.
Frosh Zombie.
Okay, well, when you say that, it makes it sound like it's
Donald Sutherland or Frosh Zombie?
I
Frosh
know,
zombie
like-
sounds like an indie band or something.
Oh,
like
I saw them. I saw them open
great.
for
They're great.
Weezer in '98.
yeah, on a cruise ship.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sticking with my first answer.
So first story is stolen.
Yes, first story stolen, second story stolen. Audience, please take your time. Say it to the neighbor, whatever you think. Say it to your mom. Say it to your dog or cat. Whatever the answer you think is. If you're on YouTube, you can comment
Call
down
your
below.
friends.
Yeah, pause the podcast. Go on a cruise. Go see Alaska. Go
Yeah.
to the left.
Pause the podcast.
Yeah.
Subscribe to mine. Come on back to this one.
Definitely do that.
Time to do that.
There you go.
$1 words.
One
Yes, by
dull
all
hair
means.
words. All right.
And I think the first story is true. Second story is fib.
I think the first story is a fib and the second story is true. And all you guys out there, I'm the host, so you should all agree with me, okay? Unless I'm wrong. Then I've led you astray. Sorry.
No.
Okay.
Yes. The true story, the 100% true story, is the second story. The Frosh Zombie is 100% true.
Oh no, it hurts so much to lose.
I love
Although I
winning.
will say, the first story
Yes.
is 100% what we told Tracy, Denise, and Julie happened.
Oh my
Because
gosh.
we didn't meet any goddamn celebrities that night, and Donald Sutherland was the name we picked.
Wow.
And we faked the whole autograph and showed it to them.
Oh my gosh.
Completely true. We did not meet Donald Sutherland, but we went out
That
that
was a
night
lie
to
of
hunt.
a lie.
It was a lie of a lie.
So where it took a twist was you were at the diner and you guys decided on Donald Sutherland being the perfect
100%.
level of fame.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Wow. That's
That
not
was
brilliant.
This is
good.
and if Tracy, Denise, and Julie are listening to this, this is the first they've ever heard that this is a lie.
Julie sees it framed on her
What
wall.
the fuck? Yeah, I'm gonna get a phone call from Drumheller, Alberta for sure.
Long
my.
distance.
Oh, wow.
He is the master
You
manipulator.
are the master manipulator.
He led us down a trail of
The
breadcrumbs.
title of this episode is going to be called "The Biggest Liar We've Ever Had."
So
Mr.
I have
Manipulator.
I do have another Evil Dead story because it is
I'm ready.
wonderful,
I love
and this
Evil
is
Dead.
a great story and very weird.
Yeah.
and
Love
you
it.
wish this is the kind of thing you wish would happen to you when you were acting in a show.
Yeah.
So we were doing Just for Laughs in Montreal
Mm-hmm.
with Evil Dead, the first time I ever did it. And we went in for 2 weeks ahead of Just for Laughs to get the show rolling.
Mm-hmm.
And our venue was nowhere near the main venue of Just for Laughs, near none of the hotel parties. And after 2 weeks of running, when Just for Laughs started, no one was coming to our show because no one knew where it was happening. But once word of mouth started, by the end of the second week of the show, we were getting really good crowds.
Yeah.
Celebrities were coming. Everything was awesome.
Cool.
And so that's where the whole Who's Line cast came to see us because they were doing a show. They came to see us. Then we went to see them. And I had already known Colin. And Colin, they sat our cast in the front row. This is B
Oh,
story.
no.
This is a B story of this. They sat her cast in the front row. So I saw Colin's daughter and said, hey, hi. And they're like, oh my God. And I said, can you take me to meet your dad? I want to warn him I'm sitting in the front row. There's nothing worse as an improviser doing a show out of town and seeing a friend in the front row. So I go back and I meet Colin and I meet like Greg Proops and I meet everybody except Drew Carey. Drew Carey was doing the show. I meet everybody in the cast, and even the musical director was a guy I worked with at Second City. So I was like, hey, and they're like, what the fuck are you doing here? I'm like, I'm with Evil Dead. We have a night off. We came to see your show. I'm in the front row. Anybody other than me would love to get picked to come out on stage. But don't, and Colin goes, why would I pick you? And I go, not you, these people. Like, great.
Right.
And everybody else. Pick anybody else.
Yeah.
Jeff Davis was there. Jeff's amazing. But, like, don't pick me. Because I'm like a ringer. I do this with you guys. Like, I've performed with Colin before. Pick anybody else at our table.
Yeah.
Great. Show starts. Time to pick people out of the audience. And Drew Carey walks right down and picks me.
No.
And it's for sound effects, which is a game I've played 1,000 times. And as I'm walking up on stage, Colin's just looking at me like, this is exactly what you said not to happen. And I go, well, he missed the meeting. Drew missed the meeting. So then we play sound effects and it goes over great. And after the show, they say stick around. So we stick around and the first person is Drew Carey. And he's like, how the hell are you that good at sound effects? And I go, I came backstage before the show and I told him the whole story. And he goes, shit. Like he was so mad. And then they would come, but then they came to our show and we ended up going out drinking, whatever. But we do the show one night and the party's on. We had a live band at the time. Like it was just a big party in this theater in Montreal. And after the show, Bill Paxton has come to the show.
I don't know who that is.
Twister, Apollo 13.
Weird Science. Was he Weird Science? He was the older brother. But it's like, he's an actor. And he is like gushing, shaking this guy's hand, shaking our lead's hand, shaking the girl's hand. Can't believe how good the show. You're so funny, so good. Turns to me, shakes my hand and goes, and like, oh my God, everybody's so great. Is that your real beard? And I go, yeah. And he goes, keep it. And you're great. You're great. And I'm like, what a fucking weird... I'm going to think about this for the rest of my life. What a weird thing. We finished doing the show 2 weeks later because we got extended. We were there for 6 weeks. Yeah. And I'm on the train home. And when I get home, there's a message on my answering machine from my agent. Bill Paxton has cast me in a movie he's shooting in Montreal. You have to turn around and go back to Montreal.
Oh my God.
And at the time, you thought you were slighted because he kind of said everyone's amazing.
But he really threw me off.
Yeah.
So, but keep it. And I was like, oh, I guess he needs it.
Keep it for the movie.
Keep it for the movie. But I didn't know that. So then I get a plane ticket and I get sent a song. You're going to sing this song. And I go, okay. I learn the song. I read the song. I'm listening to it. I want to sound like the guy on the track. Yeah. So I'm like getting ready to go. I get there. It's the greatest game ever played. This golf movie that he directed with Shia LaBeouf, a young Shia LaBeouf.
Yes.
So we get to Montreal and he's at the hotel and he's just like, thank you so much. I'm so glad you could do this. We need literally the role is bearded tenor. That's you. We'll bring you in. We'll do your costume right now. It's a tux. We'll just rent it because it's a period thing. And I'm like, oh, okay. So then we get there, they put me in hair and makeup and everything, and we're on set. And I go, okay, I've got the song. You play the track. I'm ready to sing. And he goes, oh, you're lip syncing. You don't have. This is just a payday. And I go,
like rehearsing.
But I was like, I'm just getting paid to lip sync. And he goes, yeah, it's great. And I go, it is.
Yes.
So we do it, and then we have a lunch break, and Shia LaBeouf is sitting with me at lunch, and he's gushing. This is the weirdest story, and this is 100% true. This is not the line part of the show.
Yeah, everyone's now like...
Shia LaBeouf is gushing about the Mae West snack from Vachon, the vanilla with the strawberry cream inside covered in chocolate. It's the vanilla Joe Louis.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's the Mae West. He is like, I have never had anything like this in my life. And I go, oh, the Mae West, the vanilla Joe Louis. And he goes, the what? And I go, it's the vanilla Joe Louis. And he goes, what's a Joe Louis? And I go, come with me. And me and Shia LaBeouf walk across the street, and there's a convenience store, and I buy him a Joe Louis, and he's like,
this is the best day of my life.
Oh my God. I feel like I started on the wrong end of this. And I was like, absolutely. And he was like, and it was just the great. And then I was gone the next day.
And then you were like, so long. I hope you
So
enjoyed
long.
the Joe Louis.
I hope you have a good career, young Shia LaBeouf.
I hope you become a huge movie star in the next 5 years.
It's insane, and for everything, the song, Flying Me In, Rent the Tux, Don't Have to Sing Now, Keep Your Beard, here's Shia LaBeouf, you're getting a Joe Louis. I'm in that movie for a heartbeat. Mm-hmm. I'm a transition. Like, they're in a scene, here's me singing, transition to them watching the show that I'm singing in, and you never see me again.
At no point in that story could I have ever guessed what was going to happen.
100%, no, there's no way.
That it would end with Shia LaBeouf eating a Joe Louis
Eating
with
a
him?
Joe Louis.
No,
that
for
you
me,
were
the
just
weird
like-
part is him going, this Mae West is incredible, and I'm like, you are not correct.
That you
Yeah,
were just
you
some
don't even-
random singer that would just bestowed him with knowledge.
Just
of Joe
another actor,
Louis.
and I'm like, young man, come with me to the convenience store,
This
to the
is the life.
dépanneur. Let's go to the dépanneur.
Was there ever were you tempted when you were first pulled on stage as an improviser? Did you have a decision of like, should I pretend I'm a civilian who doesn't know how to do this and bomb, or should I kill this? Did you have that moment?
I had the moment, and then because of the way sound effects is played, you're going to do the sound effects for improviser A. So anytime I go, here's a creaky door. If I do that, you have to make the creaky door noise. And you'll do it for
That was.
improviser B.
What do you think?
That was
Am I gonna
amazing.
win
I
sound
thought
effects?
somebody walked in.
Oh my gosh! Thank you.
But they purposely do stuff like, well, let me try that door
to make you do it again.
to make you do it again, but you don't make the noises for improviser B.
Oh, so it would have to be their.
But that's a great moment where you make the noise and you go, the improviser goes,
Right.
and you're like, oh shit, that's me.
Ah.
But I didn't get caught because I don't make the noises
you're
for you.
like, yeah.
So like when somebody was like, oh, now I'll open the door, and they do it, and I just go, and that like they were like, this guy's so good.
He's a natural.
But then Mockery's just looking at me like the whole time he's in the set. He's just like, just fuck off. Like he's just shaking his head at me laughing because he's like, well, of course you know not to do that.
Yes. Just got to lay up to go hit home
It
runs.
was-
Everybody
it
in the
was
audience
very
just thought you were the best.
Oh, that guy's incredible. And then I just sat back down at our table and like half the table was like, that was amazing. And then the other half are the funny people I know. They're like, I can't fucking believe you got dragged up there when you told them not to.
Just for laughs of all things. Just
And
to
I'm like,
showcase.
any one of these people,
Literally anyone else.
it would have been a fucking dream.
Yeah.
And you ruined that by dragging my old ass up there. Fucking hilarious.
It was the beard.
I had to keep it.
Yeah, there you go. And
I still do. I've never shaved.
If you're listening to the podcast, hop over to our YouTube and you can see this magnanimous beard.
Yeah, it's the gray part that's the best right now. My daughter is like, she gets her little Peppa Pig toys, and whatever color they are, she decides that's the color of paint, and she starts rubbing them through. My daddy, I'm painting your beard pink, and I'm like, go nuts, buddy.
Sure.
Bill
Why
Paxton
not?
would be so mad.
I kept it though.
Yeah, you did kept it. You
It'll
listened.
wash out. I
Yeah.
know it'll wash out.
Yeah, there you go. It's, what is it, acrylic? And some...
I think the Peppa Pig toys, yes. It's all just pretend paint, but she's just like...
Oh, I thought she
No,
was
she
putting
just takes
real-
when whatever color, like, this is Candy Cat, she's blue. So
Yeah.
then she just starts pawing it through my beard, going, Daddy, I'm painting your beard blue. And I'm like, fantastic, buddy.
Oh, I thought she was really putting paint
No,
in there.
although we did watch a video the other day on YouTube of somebody in equestrian who has chalk
Yes.
for the mane of their horse.
Hair chalk, yeah.
Hair chalk,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
they
yeah.
did rainbow or they did pink or whatever, and she's like, we should get chalk for your beard. And I was like, no, we shouldn't. We shouldn't do that.
Let's go get
Your
a Joe
beard-
Louis instead. Have you had that? You'll
Have you
love
tried
it.
a Mae West?
Yeah. Oh no, your beard being demoted to horse mane.
Yeah, it's now a horse mane. For sure.
Well,
She'll lead me around by it. Come here, Dad.
she'll get you a Diet Coke after if she remembers.
Oh,
after
yes.
her
Dad,
long day at work.
my long day of being a, what do we decide? Doctor horse lawyer.
A doctor horse lawyer.
Yes.
The audience is like, what is that about?
Wow. Okay. So, master manipulator here with an extra story. I always
Yeah.
appreciate extra stories. Thank you so much for
Oh,
being...
my God. Guys, thanks for having me. This is great.
Yeah, Nug, you crushed it. And everyone, seriously, go
absolutely-
subscribe to his podcast.
Please do pause this video, hop on over to $1 Words, click subscribe, put a review, listen to, download every single episode, and then
Buy
come
some
back.
merch.
Buy some merch.
Do we have merch? I'm going to make shirts.
Get him some merch. Buy that.
Yeah, I'll put a thing up on TeePublic. I'll put a big fan shirt up for
Yeah, there you
TeePublic.
go.
Thank you so much for tuning in again to Stele My Story. I'm your host, Alexa Steele. You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok. and subscribe to our podcast. Leave us a review. Watch us on YouTube. And where can we find $1 words?
$1 words on the Sonar Network. Look it up on your podcast catcher, whatever you listen to it on. You can follow me on Instagram at Nug Nahrgang. You'll see a lot of podcasts, pictures of dead celebrities, and my kid. That's about the and wrestling. And wrestling.
In that order?
Kind of.
Amazing.
One piece of advice before you go, Nug.
What's that?
Keep the beard.
Oh my god. I've been discovered.
Keep the beard. Is it real?
Yes, it is.
Until next time.